Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Network Your Future. And in this series, we're building out a secure, enterprise-light AWS lab environment from the ground up. We're going to have multiple VPCs, Palo Alto firewall at the edge, DNS visibility, internal apps, and even email alerts for when something goes wrong. Whether you're a cloud beginner or a networking pro who's leveling up, then this is definitely the blueprint for real-world architectures on a budget. But if you're ready, let's get into it. So in our very first video, we're going to actually lay the groundwork for our network infrastructure, and we're going to have two VPCs, one where the security tools, aka the firewall, will sit, and another for the applications. Of course, we're going to have a few different subnets in that firewall zone for the security tools, and just a few probably management and data for that applications VPC. Going to configure the route tables, security groups, and everything there. And we may actually just use Terraform to go ahead and quickly set up that infrastructure and then just demonstrate from a high level view what we are working with, and probably present a quick visual to make it easy to understand and grasp. The second video that's going to come out right after that, we're just basically going to have those next network layer components, the internet gateway. We really won't need a NAT gateway, but we'll configure it and then blow it away in Terraform just to demonstrate how we would use it in case we didn't have the firewall to perform a NAT for us. We'll probably drill in and we'll create some kind of table to show the specifics of the ports that need to be open, and we'll get a little bit more customized in the security groups. We'll demonstrate probably what NACLs the use are just by default, what they can permit. But we won't configure or change the default settings there. And so this video most likely will come out right after the first one. If you recall our last Palo Alto series, it focused primarily on deploying the Palo Alto firewall, and we spoke about Global Protect VPN, the basics of the security policies and NAT rules, and really just got our hands on with really firewalls and the basic use cases. But we didn't demonstrate what are some of the ways in a multi-VPC or even a multi-region or even a multi-account, how do those resources within different VPCs communicate? And for the past few years, really going back to 2019 or 2020 from memory, the transit gateway has been the preferred method and still reigns king, I think, for basically moving those packets inter VPC. And so we're going to do that with these VPC transit gateway attachments. We're going to have a single VPC. We'll demonstrate one transit gateway route table, but probably from a high level, discuss how we could configure a second transit gateway route table to influence east-west traffic flow through there. And one of the primary route tables having a quad zero, so that all of the routes basically, or all of the endpoints have to go through the firewall for inspection before communicating with another VPC. But really that's the crux of the third video in this series. And in our fourth video, we will go ahead and launch or demonstrate another Palo Alto deployment. Like I said, I know everyone's that's viewing this hasn't taken a look at that last playlist, so this will be impartial. We'll basically do this from scratch. And we'll have the three interfaces, our inside, management, and external. We call them inside, outside, public, private. They kind of mean the same, but the devils are in the details. We'll configure our basic route table, basic security policies there, and our NAT rules. But probably in a few videos later, once we start deploying those custom apps and we need to access them both from the public to demonstrate that, as well as across Global Protect VPN, which will basically demonstrate as if we're on premise and locally there on the network. We'll do some few rules to demonstrate and show how we can basically get in with that. But again, this video, our fourth video, is just going to be the basic configurations on that Palo Alto VM. This is where things kind of take a turn. Instead of just a simple box that's going to ping out or ping in, we're going to do two custom apps here. Not sure just yet what we'll do. Maybe, instead of just an Apache, a server or LAMP, something like that, we might deploy actually Splunk and maybe some kind of a network monitoring or status type of freeware. We may keep it cheap and, like I said, just deploy from the marketplace something that works as well. So this, again, still is in thought on which two to pick, but the primary emphasis remains the same. These are going to be one probably public that needs to be reached from the public across the internet. The other one will demonstrate if it needs to be isolated and just reachable for folks that are on the VPN, and demonstrate basically the difference between the twos. This again, those route tables as well as the security groups that were configured in the video prior will need to come back and make some changes. So this is where a lot of that learning will come into play from a networking perspective as well. In this video, we're going to actually take a detour. You could use Route 53, AWS's DNS framework there, but we're going to leverage that virtual firewall or virtual machine, the VM series for the Palo Alto, and we're going to basically use DNS proxy. And here we're going to change the default DHCP option set for the VPCs and basically any appliance that's in there. Instead of leveraging AWS, the second, first, of course, network ID, second, the server, third, the DNS. Yeah. So instead of using that AWS provided DNS, we're going to actually use the firewall and configure a few rules there and show how, again, from the internal side, from that host that you need to be on the VPN, instead of typing the 10.rc1918, the private IP address, we can actually type like a FQDN and basically do the resolution there, let the firewall perform that. So it'll be pretty cool. We haven't discussed that just yet on this channel, but again, showing some flexibility, demonstrating various solutions that you can take advantage if you have such a tool or deployment here. So looking forward to this video as well. After that, again, like I said, we'll need to go back, just like the security groups, we'll need to modify, or actually we'll need to add a few security rules as well as the corresponding NAT or security policies and the corresponding NAT rules to permit that traffic inbound. Not sure if we'll have the outbound rule set in or if we'll just wait till we get to this video to do it. But in either case, to ensure that we can access through different protocols, whether it's going to be SSH, RDP, of course, port 443, 3089, just whatever we need to get in. Again, don't know at this point what application we're going to have, but we need to get back in our firewalls and to add the pertinent rules. So that's what we got here in this video. And so once that's all done, by that time, both our apps should be deployed, as well as the proper routing, the proper firewall permittance there. So it's basically time to test and validate not just reachability, but also functionality of those applications that we have. So from a user perspective, we're gonna basically hope to not see any errors. We may introduce something there to demonstrate how we would handle or troubleshoot something. But again, this is where we're looking to basically almost come to the conclusion and show how we can get traffic in and out into our environment. And so again, in a lot of enterprise environments, you may have some type of monitoring tool that's it could be open source or proprietary, but just leveraging AWS's SES, our simple email service here, we could just configure one email address and to be alerted depending on when this CloudWatch trigger or when it exceeds those thresholds or reach. If we power down one of these web apps, if we overburden it, the CPU reaches a certain threshold, we can get those alerts. And like I said, in enterprise, you might have certain webhooks that tie into Slack to get those Slack notifications, Sumo Logic, PagerDuty, different things like that. But again, it's this similar type logic, but just understanding and demonstrating the same framework there. I think we're going to be in a good place. And we may even throw in some extra videos here, Windows servers, things like that. And I one day want to also leverage Duo and show how with the Palo Altos we can add that MFA. But I've heard each and every one of you out there, a lot of you that leave comments, that you love the last mini-series that we did. So we just thought about, for those folks who are new as well as you, how we could basically continue to do that from time to time. And like I said, always feel free to leave a thought, a comment, any kind of expression down in the comments down below. And I read them all the time. I try to reply pretty quickly, but this is your community. I'm glad that you're a part of it. And so looking forward to kicking this mini series off here in the next few days, and hope you enjoyed it as well. But again, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. And until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves. Peace.